have this conversation go. But at the core of the work that we're doing, it is career development. It's not counseling, it's education and development. And that's why it belongs in our classrooms. And so to Ms. Jones, I would like to direct the first question to help our audience gain a greater perspective of the work that you're doing. Is elementary school too early to begin with career development? And where and how does this fit into the school day?
Well, first of all, thank you for your very kind and generous introduction. To answer your question, it is absolutely not too early. If somebody maybe would have asked me this a few years ago, I probably would have not been able to answer it with such personal passion about it. It is my job to make sure that when my kids walk out the door, that they already have a knowledge of what is out there waiting for them. Whether it be a 4-year degree, a college, or other employment opportunities. If they don't know what's out there waiting for them, they don't know what they're working for. And so it is really imperative that we start now. No, I'm not asking these kids to make a decision now what their career is going to be. What I'm asking them to do is look at themselves and really take hold of what interests them. What are their strengths? And then where can I go with those? Where do I go with those? What can I do with those? And I was at first concerned about where is this going to fit in my day? And we have just found a way to integrate it into our day. It's integrated into our language arts program. It's integrated into our math. It's integrated into science. It's integrated into our physical education. There just doesn't seem to be a part of the day that you cannot blend it in with.
Yes, thank you. And that is what I have seen personally. I've envisioned that in your classrooms. I'm wondering, how has this changed you as an educator as it relates to your perspective to your craft?
As I said earlier, if you would have asked me this 3 years ago, my answer would have been a little different. But I look at my kids a little differently now. I don't only see them as 10-year-olds. I see them as the future adults that are going to be taking over this country. And when you speak to them, they have so much to offer. They have so much to offer. But now I have to consider it part of my job to let them make sure they know what they have to offer.
Yes, that's so important. And I can only imagine, Rayshawns, how you are receiving this from Miss Jones. You just had an opportunity to hear how experiencing the world of work in the classroom has changed her. How has this changed you as a student?
Originally, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but when you guys came, you guys changed my life because I thought I couldn't do anything. But with RISEC, you guys gave me my 3 letters, and now I think of a career. So I think I have a few careers in mind. So thank you for all of that, including all of you. But when people, like Miss Jones said, what's it called? Like Miss Jones said, you're never too early and everything.
Well, and we certainly have seen that in you, Rashaun, and it is a testament to the amazing work that happened in your classrooms. But I will say that I don't think we gave you those letters. I think that you self-reported those letters. What was that process like for you?
It was very good because a few questions were kind of confusing for me because I didn't understand, but Miss Jones was always there to help. But if you guys were wondering what's my 3 letters, I was artistic, social, and enterprising. So I thought of a career with those 3 letters since that helped me out a lot. So artistic, I planned on being a photographer for taking pictures of animals and National Geographic. So I planned on doing that with my 3 letters.
Well, I think we're experiencing quite a bit of enterprising right now, actually, Rashaun. And we're okay with that. You put it third on your list. When we first met, you had a bigger dream even related to what you wanted to do with the RISEC. Do you want to share that out to the world? I see we have a lot of folks here from all over the planet. And I think that kind of ties into your thinking based on what you learned in the classroom. Do you want to share that out now?
Yeah, I want to make a company over RISEC. I'll still able to live my dreams, but I still want to make a company of RISEC where people's able to come in and test their 3 letters. I want people to learn their careers. They're allowed to bring anybody. They're able to bring kids. Probably next generation, there's going to be people younger than us that's going to be doing RISEC.
Yeah, we've talked about that before because sometimes the adults don't think that young people your age are able to think about these types of topics. So why do you think this is good for kids?
The reason why I think this is good for kids because you're not going to know what's going to be happening in the future, and you should be very prepared. Like, so say you're conventional. I'm going to use one of the letters, conventional. You should be very prepared for everything. Anything that's coming your way, you should be prepared. And this very helps out.
I'm just curious what the reaction has been with your peers, your friends in the classroom too, as they've gone through this process.
A lot of my friends and people in my class have been doing very good with it. Like in my middle school right now, history and advisory, we're doing RISEC right now. We're doing RISEC.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can add a little to that. The first time Ed and Dr. Miyashiro came in, one of the times into my classroom, and we were doing a breakout activity. And Ed had asked me, come on, be honest with me. What do you feel about this? And I was talking to him and I said, I love this in the classroom. And, I really see the kids enjoying it and having a good time. I said, if you're going to ask me, are they talking about this on the playground? No, probably not. And I promise you, within 20 minutes, those kids were out there talking about it on the playground. Rashaun and his peers and how they could set up a club. They wanted, to set up a club before we so unexpectedly went out last year. So it's amazing.
I have a question for Rashaun.
Please.
Rashaun, one of the things that we know about young children is they often have fantasy careers. They want to grow up and be a ballerina or a pro football player. And I'm wondering if you had a fantasy career before, and once you started learning about yourself and RISEC, and can you talk about how that changed? Like how, as you learned about yourself, you became more specific with what you wanted to be?
So my fantasy career, I always want to work with animals. So me and my cousin were going to work with a business. What's it called? She wants to be a vet, and I was going to be a zoologist. So I learned about the animals, and she took care of the animals. And that was my fantasy career. But then RISEC came. See, then what's it called? I still want to work for that career, so that's why I'm going to do National Geographic.
That would help you get a little more refined in your focus.